Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, the Drafted Up Podcast. Week 6 in the books. We're moving on to Week 7, but we're going to talk about some of those Week 6 performances here on the podcast. That's Nick. I'm Theo. This is the Drafted Up Podcast. You know where to find us: Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you watch or listen to your podcast. We're there. Like, rate, subscribe, review, 5 stars, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Nicholas, how are you doing today?
Another rough loss, man. I can tell you that much. It was close again. Came down to Monday night. Romaduzzi barely got this guy enough points to beat me. So another heartbreaking performance in week 6. But hey, man, still rolling on that Giants win. So we're good. We're good.
My shitty ass home team here in Ziffel has somehow won 3 straight games, and I'm like the 11th highest scoring team in the league. So it's a weird stretch. But in the Drafted Up League, the Disco Snails took out the 5-0, the only undefeated team left. Mr. Logan, sorry to crush your hopes at an undefeated season, but the Disco Snails got the dub in the Drafted Up Listener League. How's your squad doing there?
I believe I played Gabe. Shout out Gabe, though, because you're on the same softball team this weekend, so we love to see it. But I think I'm 3-3, middle of the pack.
Yeah.
But team's banged up, real beat up.
Yeah, I lost to Marion Hampton. I had to start Tyrone Tracy. It was not.
Hey, man, it's a struggle out there for some positions, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm more injuries again this week. Some high top tier names went down for maybe some time too. So we'll see.
Yeah. So before we get into the little college stuff, we're not going to do Prospect Spotlight Series. Didn't really get a chance to watch college ball this week. As Nick mentioned, we had a little softball game with some family and friends. So that took up our Saturday. And I haven't got a chance to really dive into any of the college games. So we're just going to talk about the college quarterbacks and that landscape heading towards the draft, as we did during summer scouting, and kind of bring up how that's kind of changed a lot here early on. But yeah, injuries. We lost 3 prolific receivers for fantasy football, being Emeka Egbig. I keep calling him Egbigbu because of the Rob Gronkowski thing. As like a
the
joke.
Gronk thing.
Emeka Egbuka, he's out for a little bit. Garrett Wilson, he avoided a devastating knee injury, but he's going to miss time. And Puka Nacua will probably also miss a couple weeks with an ankle injury. So the injury bug keeps on biting. And another pass catcher, David Njoku, is probably also going to miss time, but the Browns haven't announced any sort of timeline there for him. So, I mean, I guess he could be back this week. We don't know. But in Njoku's case, it is beneficiary for us as fantasy owners, because now we know Harold Fanning will likely receive the bulk of targets in the passing game there, as the Browns receivers aren't doing jack squat here this season. And Tampa Bay is an interesting case because Chris Godwin still hurt. Mike Evans still hasn't been announced, so when he's going to be back. So we're looking at
Mike Evans will probably be back this week, I feel. Yeah. He is returning he seems to be practicing.
Yeah. So that leaves
going to be practicing
Sterling Shepard, Tez Johnson, and Cameron Johnson as the wide receiving options in Tampa Bay, because Jalen McMillan also still out.
Yeah, I'm not particularly thrilled with any of those guys in waivers coming up, but if I had to pick one of them, it would probably be Tez, and then Shepard, and then Caleb. But like I said, the Bucs are hopeful. Mike Evans, Cameron Johnson, whatever his name is.
He was the highest scoring of the 3 this past week.
That's okay. I'll take the other 2. But like I said, the team's hopeful Mike Evans is back, so I really wouldn't play any of them, to be honest. I'm cool with Mike Evans, and probably Cade Otton has another decent start this week.
Yeah, potentially. But all this, we might have to start throwing Baker Mayfield's name as the front runner for MVP right now. He's just doing this.
I believe he is.
Bucky Irving also is out, so he's got 5th string linemen starting, 5th and 6th string receivers, his backup running back. Things are not going according to plan early on for Tampa Bay, but they're winning games, and Baker's playing really good football. So shout out to Baker Mayfield over there. The Rams, Puka Nacua it sounds like it's not going to be a long-term thing. It sounds like it's a week or two, but you never know. So this probably gives a little bump to Devontae Adams. And then if I'm looking for another option, the Rams offense, I'm probably leading Jordan Whittington. He played 92% of the snaps this past week, and he fills that Puka Nacua role if I'm just going team for team replacement if I have Puka.
Yeah, high ankle sprains usually are either you miss 1 week or you miss 3 weeks, very similar to what CeeDee Lamb's going through right now. So I expect Puka to probably be out the 3 weeks because he tried to test it just like CeeDee Lamb did. He came out, he ran, it didn't work, and then it turned out that he's going to miss some time. Exactly what happened to CeeDee Lamb like week 2 or whenever he went down. So I expect Puka to miss 3 weeks.
Yeah, and Garrett Wilson, we also don't know how long he's going to be out for, and that just continues to make the Jets the worst. I'm not even going to go out and target a Jets pass game option to replace Garrett Wilson because, like, you target Tyler Johnson, Josh Reynolds, Alan Lazard. Like, none of those guys are worth even potentially rostering. Like,
I think Mason Taylor would be the only one.
Yeah, but
he's going to be their number one pass catcher.
He wasn't great this week. We'll talk about him a little later in the show.
Oh, no, he wasn't great at all. But if you shut down Garrett Wilson, the Jets offense is absolutely abysmal. Hence the net positive, well, the net negative, because he had negative 10 total passing yards. If you didn't count his sack yards, Justin Fields, that is, he had negative 10 total passing yards. It's a horrendous performance. I think this is going to be his last go around as a starter. No team can be out there fielding this guy as what happened with the Jets game is insane. There's no reason he wasn't pulled. Tyrod should have been in that game. Justin Fields should not be their starting quarterback. He is not their best chance to win that game. Any game going forward, to be honest. And I mentioned to you over the phone that I truly think it's an Aaron Glenn thing. I think it's a terrible coaching job. That the clock management at halftime in that game was insane. I've never seen anything like that. It starts from the top to the bottom. The Jets are the worst team in football in my eyes. Worse than Tennessee.
Which is funny because in Aaron Glenn's intro presser, he said the most important part of a game from a coaching standpoint and a momentum building standpoint are the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. So, yeah, the Jets are. It is tough sledding there. The defense hasn't been great. They have no weapons outside Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson on the offense. As Mason Taylor grows, he should grow into a good weapon, but right now he's not someone you can exactly rely on. So, yeah, the Jets. If I have pieces of that offense in fantasy, I'm dipping them. I'll sell them at a discount at that point. You'll get something more viable.
I agree, and that's honestly what's happening with the Jets in real life. The value of Breece Hall now is so low that they might not even trade him because of what they're going to get back, to where if Breece Hall goes into the offseason and signs a really big deal, they can get a decent compensatory pick for him in the draft. Because they're going to get a 5th or 6th round pick if they trade him now at this point, because everyone knows he wants out of there. He's on social media tweeting about how he does not want to be a Jet. Let him go. Free Breece Hall. It's not going to work out, so no one's going to trade anything for Breece Hall at this point. And I do apologize for my voice. It's a little raspy from the softball game. I was out there hyping up the team, and, man, we pulled off that dub. It was a great, great day, but I did lose my voice a couple of days after.
Yeah. MVP odds, I was looking them up as we were talking. Baker Mayfield is currently 3rd behind Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
Hey, buddy, if you real quick have the offensive rookie of the year favorites in front of you, read them off there for me.
I don't. I closed the tab right after I read the MVP.
That's fine. I can tell you Ibuka's not the favorite anymore. It's Jackson Dart.
I mean, that makes sense. Quarterbacks will always be the viable thing, and if with Ibuka missing time here, that is a opportunity for Jackson Dart to move forward. If he plays anything like he did against Philadelphia and the Giants continue to be competitive, that is a likely scenario there for Dart.
Yeah, for sure. If he plays the way he has been playing, he's gonna probably win Offensive Rookie of the Year because it's a quarterback award. And Abdul Carter is also the front runner for Defensive Rookie of the Year. So the Giants have both front runners for both awards. So Very similar to what happened in Houston that one year was CJ Stroud and Will Anderson. It's a culture change, dude. So hope to God it's actually this going forward.
Yeah. Only other real bit of news, Quentin Johnson, he ended up missing Sunday's game with the hamstring injury. When we recorded, he was questionable. So monitor that going forward. I'd expect him back this week, as they did bring up, like, he was ruled out on Sunday, like at game time. It wasn't like ahead of time. So I assume he was close to being able to play. And Chargers offense kind of missed him. Keenan Allen, especially, like, it opened things up for Lab, but Keenan Allen didn't have a great game. And Justin Herbert played better than we expected, but in the passing game, they definitely missed Quentin Johnston. Kamani Vidal was great, though. We'll get to him a little bit later as well.
A guy we've talked about is Orlando Gadsden. He stepped up really nice because he's very similar to Quentin Johnson. If Quentin Johnson does happen to miss time, I think Gadsden could be a streamable tight end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't Trey Harris, which you would think they might have leaned towards spending the second round pick on him, as he's a big play guy, but he was out there a little bit, but not overly effective. Yeah, Gadsden ended up seeing 7 targets there. All right. Anything else before we touch base on some quarterback prospects?
I don't think so. I think we're pretty good on that quick recap of 6, and then we'll get in the college ball real quick, and then we'll shoot into players of the week.
Yeah. So, as you know, during the summer, we did the QB summer scouting. We talked about, I believe, 10 quarterbacks at the time. And, we were pretty set on, Garrett Nussmeier was, like, for sure would have been our QB1, unless Arch came out, which we didn't expect. Like, we thought the projectile for Arch Manning was going to be good, and we still expected him to be in school no matter what happened this year. Well, Arch Manning has not been great this year. It's been a little touch and go for him. He played really well despite, like, numbers, like I against Oklahoma. So that's good to see that it looks like we're trending in the right direction again for Arch. But there's no way he can come out. Like, his tape early on is like a day 3 pick. If you ignore the name, the play has been bad. So
I truly believe that he was going back regardless, and we've said that before, so it doesn't matter. And I do think he is showing signs that he is still improving, and I'm fine with that. And I'm still not really overly concerned about the whole Arch thing.
Me either.
He still has another year of ball under his belt.
I honestly, it may even be 2 years of ball. I
brought that up in the offseason. He could go 3 years.
Yeah, this is the media's fault, and the general public is just, this guy had minimal amount of starts. He had, 3 starts and none against anybody really good. And it was all, Texas is national championship favors. Arch Manning is a Heisman favorite. And all this stuff. Like, sometimes we just got to pump the brakes and just let kids grow. And that is the case here with Arch Manning. So it hasn't been the year we'd hoped for, just from, like, an excitement standpoint, but I think this pretty much sets in stone. Arch Manning is absolutely going back to school next season. The guys we liked, Garrett Nussmeier, like I said, he was our QB1. He hasn't been great this year. He's got some sort of injury. He got hurt in camp, and I just think he's fighting through it because he doesn't have another year of eligibility, which isn't ideal for him because the tape this year has not been up to par to his tape last year. Whereas, like, now, like, consensus, like, you're seeing him as, like, QB6, QB7, QB5. Like, it's not the Garrett Nussmeier we expected coming in, where he's like, oh, he is, clear-cut QB1 or QB2 behind Cade Klubnik, who has been abysmal. Like, he's been really
so bad
to the point, like, he's played himself probably into a 3rd, 4th round draft pick at this point, whereas, like, there might be hope for Nussmeier to still find his way into round 1, maybe round 2 at the latest, depending on guys coming out as well. But those 2 guys who were the early summer favorites have not played up to par. And then another one was Drew Aller, and Penn State has been a really bad football team. They fired James Franklin. Now Aller is out for the season with an injury. He doesn't have any eligibility left either. And his play this year has just been on par with every other year. Like, he has not shown any improvement. He's still missing throws. like the growing pains you were hoping that Aller would overcome. He's just still the same quarterback. So now on top of the injury, like who knows where he ends up going? Like he's body beautiful, like he's got the best build of any of these guys for the most part.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure.
that's
For
going to
sure.
be an advantage for him. But the fact that we saw no improvements now is where's he fall into the draft? And those were really the consensus three outside of like Lenore Sellers, who was a hype guy. And Sellers has been fine this year, but you haven't seen a ton of improvement that you were looking for. Like you still see the sparks, but you haven't seen him take the steps you were hoping to. That'd be like, okay, this guy is putting it together. He's got these traits, and I don't necessarily think it's him. I don't think the South Carolina team is helping him at all. The line's bad. The weapons aren't great. So like it's again a tough evaluation for him where the year before everything was there, but it was his first year as a full starter. So he really didn't know he would go through the growing pains. And this year, like, okay, this year we're going to get clean tape, good evaluation. And now South Carolina has so many question marks outside of him that it makes figuring out his process a little difficult as well.
Yeah, Sellers is still towards the top of my list for sure. So is Nussmeier. Nussmeier is honestly actually still my QB1 if I had to put a list together. I honestly think Nussmeier is going to have a very similar draft season to like Jackson Dart. He's going to impress everyone in interviews. He's going to shell out in any type of practice, any type of drill you want to run. Nussmeier is going to hit all of his drills. So I think that's when Nussmeier really starts to shine again is come draft season. Not so much right now in college ball, which it's a shame to see. You want to see it a full package, but you're not going to get it right now going forward. But yeah, man, a lot of these quarterbacks are in a rough spot for sure. QB class is looking a little weird this year.
Which is unfortunate because we were really excited about the prospects of this quarterback class coming into summer. And I think we're both on the same page where we want to see Lenore Sellers go back to school. And we want to be talking about him in 2027 instead of 2026. And then Sam Levitt was another name we talked about. He's hasn't been nearly as efficient as he was the previous year, but he's withholding Jordan Tyson's value. Again, Levitt is in the same boat as Sellers and Manning for me. Like he should be going back to school, but I loved him coming into the summer. I thought he would have been in my top 5. He hasn't played like that this year. And Carson Beck, who you brought up, who's played really well, but he doesn't possess really the ceiling that some of these other guys have. So there's that. And also like trying to find the middle ground of him. Like the tape at Georgia last year wasn't good. It was really bad. The tape in Miami this year has been good, but it hasn't been as good as the tape from his first year in Georgia. So trying to find the line for Carson Beck is a little tricky. Like we view him a little differently. I think Carson Beck is going to be a really good NFL backup quarterback. I don't see a franchise starting guy here, but I think he is a guy who is going to be on rosters, spot start here and there, but be really valuable as a backup.
I think if you would give Carson Beck a chance on a team with like McVay, O'Connell, Shanahan, Kevin Stefanski, one of those kind of coaches, I think Carson Beck would eat because of the way he plays ball and he peppers the middle of the field. He's got a nice touch on all of his passes. I really think he could flourish in one of those systems, very similar to a Brock Purdy. You know how I feel about Brock Purdy. I don't think there's much of a difference between talent-wise, that is, of a Carson Beck and a Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Pure talent.
There's John Mateer, who's a real wild card. He was playing incredible, and then he broke his thumb, got rushed back. He played last week against Texas, and he threw 3 interceptions, and he definitely was not ready to come healthy. Back. He should not have come back. So now, who knows what happens with Mateer? I'm still willing to bet on him. He's looked great prior to the thumb injury, and Dante Moore, who's not a name we talked about over summer, Oregon's quarterback. He's kind of played his way into people talking about him as a top 5 pick. He's another name I want to go back, but I see what he possesses. And Fernando Mendoza, he's the hotness right now, and he is the betting favorite to be the first quarterback off the board. Indiana has beat Oregon and Penn State here recently, so they're top 3 in the nation. All eyes are on them now, and Mendoza's played good football, and I like Mendoza, but I'm not ready to anoint him as like QB1 first overall pick in the draft. Like I would still bet on Sellers if he came out over Mendoza.
Came out, yeah.
Like like Mendoza to me is just like a little bit better version of Carson Beck. He'd be like Kirk Cousins or Jared Goff is kind of where I would put Mendoza's like ceiling. And like that's fine here and there, but it's not ever like a top 3, top 4 quarterback. You're kind of floating in that 10 to 20 range every season.
Yeah, I totally agree. And with Sellers, he's probably the only quarterback I wouldn't guarantee this statement to fit right now. But as a Giants fan, I am extremely happy we took Jackson Dart last year because I would not want to take any of these quarterbacks with an early draft pick.
Yeah, that's how it's looking out. And that was the roundabouts of last year was this isn't a good quarterback class. None of these guys are worth high draft capital. And like, we'll wait till next year. Next year's class could be great. And now we're kind of in this boat where like, I don't have a grade higher than like I would say Jackson Dart is on par to like where I would have these guys ranked, where I had him last year, which was like a 2nd round pick. And the guy we didn't talk about is Ty Simpson from Alabama. I haven't dove too much into him, but Alabama's offense is playing great. They've become this high power passing attack, which isn't the Alabama we're used to. And, you know, they got a ton of weapons that I can't wait to watch, like Jeremy Bernard. We already know about Ryan Williams. And Ty Simpson's numbers, 16 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's been really good. Judging off his numbers, he's getting some buzz right now as well. Like who knows? Like it's really clumped up of like who's who. Like if Indiana does lose and Mendoza kind of looks bad, like how far down does he move in the consensus as we try to build a board? But right now, I can't confidently put my stamp on any of these guys as like my QB1.
No, I totally agree. And that's if I had to pick one, I think I'd still take Nussmeier just based off of his football IQ. Because I don't think any of them have like physically shown that they're the best quarterback. Where I know Nussmeier's game through his head. I know how smart that kid is. I know he grew up playing football his whole life. His dad's a coach. So if I had to pick one of them on anything, it would be Nussmeier's football IQ.
I still would also lean Nussmeier, like just based off his tape from 2024. Like I said, if he would have came out last year, for whatever reason, I had a better grade on him than Cam Ward. He would have been my QB1. This year, it hasn't been the same. Like I saw a stat that he ranks 172nd out of 177 in like arm strength measurement. That's not a appealing stat to be reading, but like I said, he's been hurt. I don't know what's going on with him. Like he got hurt early in camp. He's just kind of fighting through it. So yeah, like this class that we're really excited about has not panned out so far, whereas like it's allowed names like Dante Moore and Ty Simpson to kind of sneak into like, hey, like these guys might be the best quarterbacks in this class. And it's kind of allowed Mendoza to move up where like we have the tape in Cal for Mendoza wasn't great, and we really wanted to see what he did here in Indiana. And Indiana's winning football games and playing good football, but I wouldn't necessarily say that's all on Fernando Mendoza. They have a great defense. So a lot of questions here. Like I think I would bet on Mateer's just game and how, he just kind of plays like Baker Mayfield, but the thumb injury is concerning, and he is a bit of a wild card. He does turn the ball over a ton, but I don't know. It is tough, but like Mateer, Nussmeier, Sellers, I think they have the best traits of the group, but a lot could change through the process here and through just the college season and who comes and who goes back, and we'll see come next year, 2026, on who we're actually going to focus all of our energy on, kind of studying these tapes, because right now I'm just kind of, I'll watch games here and there, and if I get some access to all 22, if it's a guy I want to watch, I'll take a peek at it, but I'm not like fully diving into scouting reports just yet on these guys. But it has been disappointing so far through the process for these quarterbacks.
Yeah, I totally agree, for sure.
All right. That segment, as we hope one of these guys can kind of become a force. Findlay, their hats are already a force in the hat market. Their hats are built for good times and long times. They offer a lifetime warranty, so if your hat is damaged or destroyed, they'll replace it or repair it absolutely free. They do weekly drops. They have mystery boxes. They have stuffed Sans hat. They have jerseys, joggers, shorts, other sort of apparel, sunglasses, all that good stuff. They got dad hats, snapbacks, beanies, all kinds of stuff. They got the Stampede laces, and you can customize the pins that are attached to that, as well as the little secret pockets on the inside of the hat. So check them out over at Findlay Hats. Check out the mystery drops every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific. They do that in the description. There's a link. You can click it, get a nice 15% off your first purchase over at Findlay Hats. All right. Players of the week. The good week. Good version. Quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes is
Dog.
back to kind of where he was, as the Chiefs can't beat you with a running attack. You know, Pacheco's been bad. Kareem Hunt's been bad. Brashad Smith hasn't been overly involved in the running game. So it's been all on Patrick Mahomes' shoulders, and he had 4 touchdowns this week. He was QB1. He is QB1, at least in our home format, which is 6 touchdowns. I don't know if he is in 4, but he is fantasy relevant again, to the point where, like, you're not pulling Mahomes from your lineup, and that's better for football, is when Patrick Mahomes is slinging the ball around. And Drake May continues to be great. He had a top 5 performance. Dak Prescott, 3 touchdown performance against the Panthers in a losing effort. Jaden Daniels, 3 touchdowns. Jacoby Brissett, like, he was a top play this week. Kyler Murray ended up not playing, and the Cardinals offense somehow looked much better with Jacoby Brissett than they have with Kyler Murray. Daniel Jones continues to be good for
I feel that's the thing Arizona does, because if Kyler Murray missed that game, Dobbs came in, he was fine, and the offense looked great. And then the next 2 weeks Dobbs played, the offense was horrendously bad. So we'll see what happens with Brissett. But Marv also left that game injured, I believe. And
he did.
I believe we didn't bring up Kyler Murray in the injured stuff. I don't think he's going to play next week, because the week after that they have a bye week. So I think they're going to get him on a 2-week rest here. So I think Jacoby Brissett's playing next week.
It's because Battlefield 6 came out, let's be real. That's why Murray's hurt.
I get it. The grind don't stop.
Daniel Jones continues to be good for fantasy, giving you rushing upside. Another rushing touchdown for him. He had 3 total touchdowns. And Sam Darnold continues doing work. 2 touchdowns for him, almost 300 yards. Jackson Dart, he was a top 10 play this week. He had 2 touchdowns. He's doing it through the air, through the ground. Bryce Young, 3 touchdowns on his part. And Justin Herbert, 2 touchdowns, a little over 260 yards. He rounded out the top 10. Any of those you really want to, like, dive in on? Like, for me, it'd be Drake May. He's been incredible for New England. The first place New England Patriots. Drake May has looked better than the quarterback counterparts from his draft class, and he's doing it with really no help. Like, Kayshon Boutte, Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry, like, none of them have really been, like, consistent, and the running game as well has been all over the place with Henderson and Stevenson and previously Antonio Gibson. So, like, this has been all on Drake May's shoulders, and he has been so good for fantasy. If you took the shot on him at the end of your drafts, he is paying off in dividends right now.
Yeah, no, for sure. And his worst fantasy outing is with his best real NFL game. Like, he didn't turn the ball over at all versus Buffalo. He went into Buffalo and played a clean ass game, almost at 300 yards passing, and got the win versus the Bills 2 weeks ago. And that's his worst fantasy outing because of the way they had to score on the ground with Ramondre. But he's got a tough couple matchups for fantasy coming up. I mean, Tennessee, because you don't have to pass on them. Cleveland has a great defense, and Atlanta's defense has been really good. So we'll see how he does in these 3 matchups going forward.
Yeah. Drake May has been great, and Just the way the Patriots play, I kind of think May is matchup proof right now. Anybody else in that group you want to talk about? How you feeling about Jackson Dart's fantasy value rest of season?
Yeah, if Jackson Dart keeps rushing the way he does, his fantasy output's going to be great. He's had 50 yards on the ground every game he started, all 3 games. He had a rushing touchdown 2 of the 3. He's just gotta play safer ball because you can't have him in the injury tent. He's been the injury tent all 3 games he's played.
Yeah.
One of the games he's had a bunch of turnovers versus New Orleans, so he just gotta play cleaner, play safer. But as long as he's giving me high rushing upside, Jackson Dart's got really good fantasy value.
Yeah, I agree. He's going to be kind of a spot start matchup play rest of season in my eyes. I absolutely agree.
He wouldn't be my only quarterback, but I would definitely happily start him going forward if I needed to.
Yeah. Anyone else before we move on to running backs?
Baker had a nice little week for not having any weapons out there. He was QB 12. That guy legitimately deserves MVP talks at this point. So I just love Baker. Shout out Baker. Everyone tried to give up on him.
Pretty sure
multiple years ago.
Baker has been a top 12 quarterback like every week this season.
Week 2 he was the quarterback 15, but other than that, he's been a top 12 quarterback. So yeah,
he's been great. Running backs. I'm just going to start with RB2. Which was Rico Dowdle. Another 200-plus total yard game here against the Cowboys. 183 yards on the ground. So followed up the game prior, he had the 200 yards on the ground, and he told the Cowboys to buckle up, and they did not. And Rico Dowdle slaughtered them. 183 yards on the ground, 4 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown through the air. I wanted to focus here on Rico, and then I'll dive into the rest of the list. Like, how does Carolina go back to Chuba Hubbard?
They don't. They literally brought that up in a press conference. They easily could have said Chuba Hubbard is the guy going forward. They did not say that. So I get they paid him a lot of money, and they didn't pay Rico that much on a 1-year deal, but Rico, 6 of the last 8 games he's started, he's had over 100 yards. That's phenomenal productivity. Obviously, we're going back to last year with Dallas, his 2 starts this year with Carolina. That backfield at least has to be 50-50 split the first week Chuba's back, and we'll see how it goes forward. But I don't know, man. It's going to be muddy waters for both guys, I think, because I think they're both going to be involved.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be tough. Like, Chuba Hubbard's always been just like, you could lock him in as like an RB2 at the lowest. And now with the way Rico's playing, it's going to be tough to move on from him. So that cuts into Chuba's workload. Rico is only on a 1-year deal, so I don't think Carolina dips him per se. But
no, I don't think so.
I think Rico Dowdle is playing his way into a starting role somewhere next year. Like, I don't know how you could not look at these last, his games with Dallas and then these 2 games he started this year for Carolina. Like, if you take those, that his pace is like 2,000 yards. Like, he's been incredible. Like, I don't know how you look at them and be like, yeah, that guy's not a starting running back in the NFL. Like, some team, I think, is licking their chops to bring this guy in next year. Like, I would be. If I was a running back needing team, I'd be signing Rico Dowdle in the offseason.
No, I agree. And I honestly think there's some type of market for him come trade deadline. Hampton's injury is longer than they expected out there for San Diego or LA, the Chargers. So no one knows how long Hampton's going to be out. Kansas City, they definitely need a running back. Like, there are good teams that are going to be making runs that don't really have a backfield solidified. And if it's Rico Dowdle, Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara, there are going to be running backs on the move come 2-3 weeks from now.
Yeah, there will absolutely be a market for Dowdle, but we'll see if Carolina is willing to move him. I personally would not be, but other running back, Bijan Robinson had that 80-yard touchdown run against Buffalo. He continues to be great. Like, if you were ballsy enough to take Bijan 1-1 over Jamar Chase, kudos to you. 170 yards, touchdown, 6 for 68 through the air. Devon Achane finally had an efficient running game, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns. Wasn't overly involved in the passing game, though. 4 for 22, but still a top play. Josh Jacobs, 2 touchdowns. Cam Scattaboo, 3 touchdowns this past week. DeAndre Swift, who I was not in on this past week, 108 yards, 2 grabs for 67. He got into the end zone. He was a good play. Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, those are 2 names who we bring up every week for Players of the Week. Continue just put in the work. And then Kamani Vidal,
Yes,
Chargers, 124 yards, 3 catches. He got into the end zone through the air. It looks like it is his backfield as he played 70% of the snaps. We didn't see a ton of Hassan Haskins. So if you were able to snag up Kamani Vidal, I think going forward as we wait for Hampton's return, I think he's going to be a good play.
I hope so, but I still think it's going to be whoever has the hot hand. I think if Haskins comes in here and has 3 big runs, I think he's going to get the ball a little bit more than Kamani and Vidal, but I loved Vidal coming out of college, so it's really nice to see him taking advantage of this opportunity. Hopefully he keeps running with it.
Yeah. Rashad White, good week.
Big performance.
Yep, another starting performance, top 10 performance for him. Derrick Henry, was good to see him get going there on the bad Ravens offense, 122 yards. So if you stuck with Henry, he was a fine play this week. Not a lot of great running back performances week 6 here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as Henry was 12 to 13, 14 points in a full PPR, and he was a top 15 play.
Yeah, not a great performance, 15-5 in full point PPR, but he's literally not going to be involved in the passing game. He had 1 catch for 8 yards, but his rushing game was good, 24 for 122. If he would have gotten the end zone, he would have been a phenomenal performance, but
yeah,
Derrick Henry with no touchdowns is not great. It's just a good performance.
It was at least good to see that he was able to get 100 yards and be effective while the Ravens were bad. They only scored 3 points in that losing effort to the Rams. And Lamar Jackson should probably be back this week, so that is good for Baltimore pieces going forward, as with Lamar, they were averaging like 35, 36 points per game. Without Lamar, they're averaging like 6.
Yeah, well, they have a bye week this week, so Lamar will be back next week.
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
Receivers, though. A lot of good receiving performances this week. George Pickens continues to ball out here without CeeDee Lamb.
Is going to get so much money in the offseason. It's going to be crazy. He's going to get paid, bro.
The contract drama between him and Dallas, I'm here for it. 9 grabs, 168 yards, and a touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba, I feel he is the Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, the wide receivers. I feel he is on this list every week. Yep. 8 grabs, 162 yards, and a touchdown. Drake London, welcome to the show. 10 grabs, 158 yards, and a tutty. Kayshon Boutte, we brought him up briefly with Drake May. 5 grabs, 2 of them were touchdowns. That ended him into top 5 category. Going forward, you can keep him on your bench. He's not somebody you could start with confidence over there. Jamar Chase, 10 grabs with Joe Flacco. He got into the end zone. Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr., welcome to the show, guys. They each got into the end zone this past week. Kendrick Bourne, 142 yards on 5 grabs. He was a big play shot there for the 49ers. And we'll touch on Bourne. You asked, I think it was last week, like how I feel about him rest of season. And I honestly think as long as one 49ers wide receiver is out, which seems to be the case every week, Kendrick Bourne's a fine play. So Ricky Pearsall missed this week. Juwan Jennings was out there, but he wasn't good. So we'll see what the future holds there. But I think Kendrick Bourne is someone you could keep on your roster here until the Niners prove otherwise. Like maybe it is Mac Jones. They have familiarity, but we'll see going forward. But I think you should be stashing Kendrick Bourne on your bench at this point because this is 2 big games in a row for him.
Yeah, I totally agree. And with the health concern of Ricky Pearsall and Jennings, both have been banged up multiple times throughout their career. I really think Bourne's just going to be on the field the majority of the season going forward. Yeah.
Hollywood Brown, he got 2 touchdowns. So if you were desperate and had to play him, kudos to you. Jameson Williams, your guy.
Hey, finally shows up. Never wrong, just early.
Yeah. 6 for 66 and a touchdown. Tedero McMillan, 3 for 29. Doesn't look great, but he did find the end zone twice this week, his first 2 touchdowns as a professional. And Jalen Waddle and Chris Olave still keep performing for their offenses, each with 6 grabs, each almost with 100 yards this past week.
Yeah, a lot of nice performances from a lot of fantasy relevant receivers like DK. It was really nice to see that. It was nice to see Chase out there with
Old man Joe.
Joe Flacco. Yep. That's that guy's name. Joe Flacco. So, hey, man, if Joe Flacco's willing to get these guys the balls the way he was on Sunday, Ja'Marr Chase, I think, is a little bit safer. The kind of like what we described. Like his floor is going to be way safer. And he's still going to have some really catchable touchdown passes, but it's not going to be like this every week.
Yeah. Luke McCaffrey, I didn't bring him up, but he's at the bottom of this list. He was a top 20 play. It feels like every time he's on the field for Washington, he's making plays. He had 1 catch for 33 yards and a touchdown. I don't understand why they're not getting him involved more, because like it seems to be like any little bit of playing time he gets, he has taken advantage of that opportunity. And this is a team that desperately needs help. Like Deebo Samuel hasn't been great without Terry McLaurin, and who knows what Terry McLaurin's health is going to be like for the rest of the year. Like, at least get this guy out here, give you some juice, and give you another option for Jaden Daniels to not have to do everything on his own.
I totally agree. He's, even in the kick return game and the punt return game, like, or it's just kick return, he doesn't do punts, but his kick return stuff is insane. He's so dynamic with the ball. He's so flashy. He's so quick. He was a top 100 pick. There's a reason they drafted him this early. Like, get this guy on the field. Let's see what he can actually do. He's got Dallas this week coming up. If Terry McLaurin's not out there, that could be a really nice, spicy, hot start there.
Yeah, a little sneaky spot play, because I'm sure we have more bye weeks than we had this past week, which was only 2. Move on to tight ends.
Yeah, I think you touched Mace on a lot of the good receivers for sure.
Dallas Goedert, he was tight end 1, 9 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Trey McBride, welcome to the end zone, 8 for 72, and a touchdown for him. Tyler Warren, 6 for 63, and a touchdown. Sam Laporta, 5 for 55, and a touchdown. Like, those are big name fantasy tight ends that you've just been waiting. Well, Tyler Warren's been doing it all year, but like Trey McBride, you've been waiting for like this bigger game. Like, he's just had okay games. Same with Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta's now put back-to-back games with a touchdown in hand. So you like that. Michael Mayer, in absence of Brock Bowers, 5 for 50 and a touchdown. Zach Ertz, it's been a rough 2 weeks for him, but he found the end zone. Harold Fannin with 7 grabs and 81 yards. Travis Kelce, 6 for 78. Tucker Kraft, he found the end zone, only 2 grabs, but the one was the touchdown. And Tyler Higbee, we talked about like watching for Terrence Ferguson, but Higbee was active and he ended up having a nice game with his 4 for 40 and a touchdown for the Rams against the Ravens.
And I think with Puka's injury, Higbee's the guy to watch. He might be more involved going forward.
Stafford loves him.
Yeah, for sure. He's really consistent. He's really reliable. So he's just in the right spots all the time. And Vegas has already come out and said Brock Bowers probably isn't playing again this week because of their bye week the week after. They're going to give him another week off. So Michael Mayer is probably a decent little flex guy if you need to put him in there at tight end.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Yeah, tight ends, a lot of good performances this week from the position.
I think we've been saying that a lot more going forward. Like, tight ends have just been like reliable. Like, even AJ Barner all the way down there, he was double digits. Orlando Gatson put together a nice week. Ferguson again with a phenomenal week. Harold Fannin going forward is going to be crazy good.
Darren Waller got in the end zone again, even with 2 catches, 2 for 19, but one was a touchdown. Like I said, Jake Ferguson in the end zone again, 3 for 33. In his part, like, he wasn't even a top 12 play this week or a top 10 play this week, and he found the end zone, which usually if you're in the end zone as a tight end, you're guaranteed top 10.
Well, you say that to Taysom Hill all the way down there at 28, brother. Can't believe Taysom Hill's back, taking touchdowns away from guys. Ugh, what a world to be in 2025.
Anyone else before we move on to the players of the week? WEAK?
No, I don't think so.
All right. The not so good players. Not a lot of bad quarterback performances this week. Like, Jordan Love was like a QB 19, but he still had 250 yards. He found the end zone. So, like, you weren't upset with that. Like, I only have 3 guys listed. It's Bo Nix, who was my start of the week. He was QB 22 in 6 point, 174 yards and a touchdown. Didn't do much on the ground either with 24. Matt Stafford, who we loved the matchup, weather wasn't great. He only had 181 and 1. And then obviously the most pathetic of them all was Justin Fields and his QB 30 finish with 45 yards through the air and 31 yards on the ground, just leading the terrible, terrible Jets offense against the really good Broncos defense. Like the last 3 Broncos Jets games have been so bad. If you go back and look at them, like unwatchable.
It's a weird thing, but Fields was out there. Maybe he could have worked from home this week, 100%. Whatever he was doing on that field was not football. I would throw Tua into that, like the bad performances. I get it was a bad matchup versus the Chargers, but the weeks prior he was really decent, really streamable. 3 touchdowns a week before, and then you step out there versus the Chargers and go 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Dolphins are in a rough spot, dude. I think McDaniels is the next to get fired.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even bring that up. Brian Callahan.
Oh, yeah. Brian Callahan did get fired for sure,
from
dude.
The Tennessee Titans. And former Chargers head coach Mike McCoy is their interim head coach. And they brought out that it's their goal to give Mike McCoy the best possibility to not be the interim head coach, but to be the head coach going forward. So we'll see where that happens. I don't expect him to be the guy in Tennessee next year, but we'll see if a coaching change provides a little spark. That usually is a thing.
Usually does.
You get a little 1 week bump there. Moving on the running backs, all these guys were outside the top 24. James Cook only had 87 yards. He had no catches. Wasn't a top 24 play this week. And weirdly enough, Buffalo didn't have him out there down 1 possession in the 4th quarter. They had Ty Johnson out there. And when they asked Sean McDermott about it, all his reply was, yeah, that's a good point.
Yep. That's what you want to hear. Thanks, coach. Good talk, brother.
Like, it was really the first time this season that we've kind of seen Buffalo shift back to the multi-running back backfield and hurt James Cook's value. Saquon Barkley, only 58 yards, 2 catches, only 9 yards through the air. Michael Carter.
Barkley's weird, man. He's had a nice fantasy season. Like, it's been fine. It's been rough, obviously, but it hasn't been bad. But he's on pace for less than 1,000 rushing yards. Like, whatever's going on is really hitting his fantasy value.
The Eagles' line's been a little banged up. The offense hasn't been as efficient, so it is hurting him. And he's also been banged up. He's dealing with a leg injury. So, yeah, and this was the worry with Barkley, was getting all that workload he had last year was affecting how he does this year. Javonte Williams, 29 yards. 5 catches, 5 yards. Tough go round for him. Both Lions running backs struggled against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The running back performance. These are like names like that are in your lineups. Tony Pollard, he's usually like a flex play, only 34 yards. Breece Hall didn't do anything in the passing game, had 59 yards on the ground. J.K. Dobbins only had 40 yards. Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt didn't give you a lot of stuff. Both Seahawks running backs weren't great this week. Ken Walker had 34 yards. Charbonnet had 24. Jaylen Warren, tough defense. Like, we weren't telling you to play Jaylen Warren against the Browns, but he wasn't even in the top 30 of full PPR. He only had 2 grabs. And then Quinshon Judkins on the other side, only 36 yards, wasn't involved in the passing game. And then both New England backs, Stevenson and Henderson, were unplayable. Like, these were names were like, you're making decisions on putting these guys in your lineup, and all of these names were let downs this week.
I totally agree. Did you mention J.K. Dobbins?
Yeah, 40 yards. He was kind of in that ramble there.
That ran of a bunch of guys, but this was like his first really bad game. He's been really consistent all season, playing well. The Jets don't have a great defense. I get that, but it was a rough game for everyone involved pretty much on those offenses. Judkins' game was rough. I'm really shocked they didn't try to get him more involved. It's not like they've been winning all these other games. He's been the lead back. They still got him involved when they're down. There's no reason Dylan Gabriel's passing the ball over 50 times in a game. That's not going to get you wins. Give the ball to the best guy on the offense. The best guy on the offense is Quinshon Judkins, and it's not even close in my eyes. Keep feeding that man the rock.
Returned back to the lineup. He actually got some playing time this week.
Yeah, that guy's been missing for the last 5 weeks. I don't even know where that guy ended up. That's crazy work.
Yeah. Wide receivers?
Wide receivers.
There's also names here like Devonta Smith, 4 for 49, Zay Flowers, 6 for 46. DJ Moore, who started hot, like he 3 for 42. That was all the first drive. And then all he was doing was blocking his ass off for DeAndre Swift, and then he ended up in the hospital, and it seems like he's going to be okay. It's a groin injury, so continue to monitor that, but he could be a name that's on the trade block. Like Buffalo needs to go out and get a true wide receiver.
Yeah.
Like whether it be Chris Olave, Jacoby Myers, I doubt they can get Garrett Wilson. They love Carolina Panthers players, so DJ Moore seems to be like their type as well. Like just how they bring in receivers. DJ Moore seems to be like the alpha of like the brand of receiver they love. So they keep monitoring that. But Jacoby Myers, he wasn't great. Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, Steph Diggs, Deebo Samuel, Roma Dunze, Garrett Wilson, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Michael Pittman, Cortland Sutton was 1 for 17. Juwan Jennings played almost 80% of snaps, and he was just 1 for 7. Like, these, again, some names that are in your lineups just really underperforming this past week.
Yeah, dude, it was a weird week fantasy-wise. Like, a lot of people didn't feel it. Like, a lot of people still had really good weeks. Like, I had 150 and a loss. The guy I played, he had one with close to 160, but there was a matchup in our league where both teams were under 100 points. There were teams that got obliterated by players this week, injuries this week, really bad performances. Like, it was the tale of two stories here, fantasy-wise. Like, amazing performances, really, really bad. There was no middle ground for fantasy this week. So, you are very lucky if you are like looking at your week. You're like, wow, I had a good week. Didn't have any injuries. Puka, Garrett Wilson, Emeka Buka. You are a lucky person, especially with bye weeks coming up. Week 8 bye weeks are going to hit teams like a rock, dude. So everyone needs to be prepared for week 8 bye weeks, especially with injuries as well.
We're coming into those weeks where we're going to start seeing 6 teams on a bye, and it's going to be a struggle. And then tight ends, not a lot. Mark Andrews continues to be bad, 4 for 24. David Njoku played the majority of the game. I wasn't going to include him because he got hurt, but him and Garrett Wilson played most of the game, and they were both bad, 3 for 28. Hunter Henry, like, it's weird that Drake May was up there, and Hunter Henry and Steph Diggs are in here in the players of the week, whereas Kayshon Boutte and Demario Douglas had good fantasy performances and probably not started anywhere unless you're in a real deep league.
I think that's how New England's offense is going to be. It's going to be very similar to the Chargers' backfield. Whoever has the hot hand is going to get the ball. Drake May doesn't have any real chemistry dedicated to any of these guys. So it's, if you're open, you're going to get the ball. I'm not going to play favorites to any of you guys. So if you want the ball, go get open, and I'll get you the ball because Drake May is that good.
Yeah, and both running backs were also in this list here. So, like, New England is a tough situation. Kyle Pitts, you would have thought, no Darnell Mooney, no Ray McLeod, that there was room for him to do something. 3 for 18. Juwan Johnson, 2 for 15. He also fumbled. Mason Taylor and the bad New York Jets, he had 1 grab for 2 yards. Like, I think, tough go-round for some of these names that you potentially played this week.
I think Juwan Johnson could probably be cut if you have some type of relevant tight end. Unfortunately, we got Taysom Hill back, and Foster Moreau is now back, so they got 2 of their tight ends back. And Juwan Johnson's banged up. He's been playing hurt. This was his lowest percent of snaps all season. It's dropped to like 70% to where it was mid-80s to high 90s. So he's always been on the field up until this week, and he took a big hit. With these 2 guys coming back, I'm not thrilled about Juwan Johnson going forward, unfortunately.
It was a good high. I loved it.
Oh, it was amazing. It was great. I got 2 solid weeks out of that guy in fantasy, and thank God I still have Jake Ferguson on my team.
We'll be telling tales of those. Yeah, you remember when Juwan Johnson actually started hot?
Yeah. You remember when he was actually the slot receiver on that team and he was getting 10 targets a game?
Fantasy playoffs pick that guy back up though, because that's his time.
He shines.
If they dip Chris Olave too, like that's what I would wait
for sure.
to see if you could. I'd hang on the chance they trade Olave. Juwan Johnson has his value there going forward. Mason Taylor, I'm less worried about him. The 1 for 2, just with Garrett Wilson being out, he's probably now the top pass catcher here. But the Jets, can you trust the Jets passing game?
No.
So
no.
it kind of makes it difficult to put Mason Taylor into your lineup going forward here.
I still don't think I would start him next week. I would want to see how the offense is without Garrett Wilson because it's going to be rough. So try to find your way out of it, but I do think Mason Taylor should be on teams.
Yeah, who the Jets got next week? Carolina. So, team that gives up points. So it'll be interesting. Man, the Panthers might be 4-3.
I'm not trusting any Jet versus Carolina, and that's how bad the Jets are. It's insane. It all starts with Aaron Glenn and Justin Fields. I don't trust either of those guys.
Yeah. All right. We ready to round this out? Thursday Night Football? I remember.
Thursday night. Brought to you by Amazon Prime.
Well, I wish they sponsored the podcast. No, our Thursday preview is brought to you by our affiliates over at W Energy, the OG affiliate of the Drafted Up podcast. W Energy, good, clean energy, no artificial dyes, no artificial sweeteners, none of that stuff. It's good, clean energy. They got a ton of flavors. They're starting to introduce some new stuff here and there, so expect some plugs here with some new flavors. They have the new two new hydration flavors in Grandma's Lemonade and the Grapefruit Citrus, as well as a ton of other energy-based flavors. They got the solo leveling collabs. One's a grape blue raspberry, the other's like a blue tropical punch. So check them out over at dubby.gg or download the app. Just search Dubby in your Apple App Store, your Google Play Store. It'll be there. Use the code DRAFTEDUP for a cool 10% discount. Anytime you use it, it's good for that. So check them out over at Dubby Energy. Be better. Eat that dub with Dubby.
Giants are eating dubs, dude. Oh, we're eating those dubs, bro.
Yeah.
We got Denver this week.
Right.
I'm not particularly thrilled.
Hey, the Jets almost won that game with no offense. So
that's true. If we can get Denver on a bad day,
and they're traveling from London,
true.
bro.
That's true, man. Sneaky. All right, you're talking me into it. You're talking me into it.
This was my original Jackson Dart game. I was like, man, they're traveling from London. The Giants have extra time off. You guys are falling into a good situation potentially. But that's on Sunday. Thursday night, less exciting game. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the division-leading Pittsburgh Steelers, travel to the second-place Cincinnati Bengals. Steelers are 5.5-point road favorites, and the over-under is set at 43.5. Thankfully, this is pretty easy for fantasy. DK Metcalf is in your lineup against the Bengals. He probably would have been a start of the week if this was a Sunday game. Not going to front. The real question mark on Pittsburgh is really the running situation. Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. Are you willing to play either of those guys on Thursday?
Gainwell was on the field for 34% of snaps last week, and
so he's kind of fallen back to where he was.
Yeah, Warren was at 53 coming off of the bye and an injury. And Jaylen Warren's a dog, dude. He was out there pass blocking his ass off versus the Browns defensive line. That's amazing. I think Jaylen Warren's a really good play this week.
Yeah. If I had to play one of them, it would obviously be Jaylen Warren. And I would still be holding on to Kenneth Gainwell because we saw what he could do against Minnesota. And he's been relevant as well in the minimal time because we know Arthur Smith loves to play those backup running backs. So if you were in a pinch, I guess Gainwell, if you've been plagued by the injuries with Hampton or Tyrone Tracy or Bucky Irving, maybe there's a world where you play Gainwell, but it's more so just Jaylen Warren and obviously DK Metcalf is a lock here. Do you mess around with any other passing options in Pittsburgh?
No, it would just be DK. The receiving room doesn't really talk to me that well. I don't like Calvin Austin that much. The tight end room's too cluttered as well, so it would really only be Jaylen Warren and DK Metcalf in my eyes. Caleb Johnson had as many carries as Kenny Gainwell did last week, so I think they're both kind of involved in the rotation. Neither of them are really valuable. Kenny Gainwell got lucky and had 6 catches last week on 6 targets. I don't think that's going to continue with Warren getting healthier. So I really think it's only Warren and DK.
Is Aaron Rodgers in line for a spot start? There's only 2 teams on a bye this week, but it's 2 teams that
I think he is.
Are very fantasy relevant at the quarterback position in Buffalo and Baltimore. So if you're the Josh Allen owner, you're the Lamar Jackson owner. Lamar Jackson owners, you probably have already found a quarterback because you haven't had him the past 2 weeks. But Buffalo owners, you're probably not carrying a second quarterback with Josh Allen. I don't hate the idea of streaming Aaron Rodgers. I hate streaming a quarterback on a Thursday.
On a Thursday, yeah.
The matchup is juicy.
I agree. I would. It's not confident or anything, but I think it could be a lot of fun, dude. And he just missed DK last week on another huge touchdown, so he should have had 3 touchdowns. And it was a deep touchdown, like 50, 60 yards, maybe longer. So I think that happens again. It's going to be another nice Rodgers DK game this week for Cincinnati.
Bengals side. I could have put Chase Brown in the running back players of the week, but he was a top 24 play somehow with 8 points, almost 9 points in full PPR. Jamar Chase is obviously in your lineup. He was relevant with Joe Flacco. T. Higgins was involved. You could flex him. I'm not gonna love it. But
he had 8 targets. He brought in 5 for 62. Yep. He could find the end zone with Flacco as like a flex option. He's not going to be a top 24 play, but you're good.
There's more confidence with T. Higgins with Joe Flacco than there was with Jake Browning.
100%. Jake Browning was. You could not start T. Higgins when Browning was out there. You can flex him with Joe Flacco.
Do you play Chase Brown? That's the real question on Cincinnati. He's been underperforming. He's like RB 31 on the season in full PPR, which has not been great. And as a Chase Brown owner, it is killing me. But
it shows having him in the leagues.
I can't bench him. Like, that's how bad the situation I'm in is. That like I have to keep Chase Brown in my lineup. It's not ideal, but tough to move on from. If you have options, like would you play Kamani Vidal this week over Chase Brown?
That is a disgusting question because I don't even know if Vidal is really the leading back. Like, up until Sunday games kicked off, there were reports that Haskins is the lead back. He's going to get all the work. But I kind of think I would play him over Chase Brown just based on ceiling.
So they're playing the Colts, who decent defense.
Yeah, they're all right.
They shut down Michael Carter, but Bam Knight did get into the end zone against them this past week. He was a top 20 play. Didn't bring him up, but what about one of the Cardinals running backs, Bam Knight, Michael Carter? Or are you just not messing around with that? You're just going to roll with Chase Brown over those 2 guys?
If Bam Knight wasn't involved as much as he was, I'd be cool with Michael Carter, but they're so confident on doing 2 backs there, and I get it. Neither of those guys can really demand a workload, so I would go Chase Brown over Arizona.
And they're playing Green Bay.
Yeah, for sure. I would go Chase Brown over Arizona, but I would go Kamani Vidal over Chase Brown.
I agree on both of those. Yeah, I would lean Vidal over Chase Brown, and I would lean Chase Brown over either of the Cardinals running backs.
Yeah.
Same game, Jaylen Warren or Chase Brown?
Jaylen Warren, for sure.
Jaylen Warren. Agree. Okay. All right. Who wins?
Pittsburgh. I don't think it's going to be a fun game. I don't think it's going to be an entertaining game at all, but I think Pittsburgh sneaks out the dub.
Pittsburgh should absolutely win this game. Cincinnati hung around with Green Bay more than they should have. They garbage timed it up against Detroit.
Yeah.
So that score came out a little closer than it actually was, but I want to pick the Bengals just because I think they could win, but
You're still hooked on the Bengals, dude. I can feel it. Just rip it out. Just rip it out.
So, no. This just feels like Pittsburgh lost a Thursday game against Cleveland last year, and
it's
Cleveland
a division
was bad.
game. It's going to be a hard-fought game. Yeah,
and they just played Cleveland, who they play tough. So like it feels like this could be a trap for Pittsburgh. So that's why I thought Cincinnati could. I do think Pittsburgh wins, but it would not surprise me if this game's like a field goal. Pittsburgh just wins by a field goal.
What's the line? Do you know? 4.5?
5.5 for Pittsburgh.
5.5. Okay, I would say I'd probably lean the under on that. I really would. I think it's going to be really close.
Yeah. All right. There it is. Thursday night football. Steelers, Bengals in the books. Podcast in the books. We'll be back Thursday or Friday. There's no real set episode there anymore, depending on
Schedules.
Stuff. Sometimes Thursdays are a little hard and Friday nights are a little easier for us. So we will be back though. 2 episodes this week.
Sure.
And that'll do it. Anything else?
Nah, I don't think so, man. Just want to thank Jackson Dart again for being my savior. It's no big deal. He just saved my life casually. It's all right. Him and Cam Scadaboo. What a world. What a world. I would never thought I would be in the world where I'm looking to buy Cam Scadaboo merchandise. So I don't know, man. It's a crazy world we're living in. It's insane how things can just flip on a drop of a hat. So here we go.
Yeah.
Bam, bam, Cam.
JJ McCarthy returned to practice. So
get him out there, baby.
Yeah, against the Eagles. I
want you to feel what I'm feeling, dude.
I do kind of want Carson Wentz back there to beat Philadelphia. That would be incredible. But if he did, then there's going to be so much drama going forward of who the Vikings quarterback is going to be, and I don't want that.
Stop. Just listen to this. Imagine this. Philly loses to Jackson Dart. Philly loses to Carson Wentz in a revenge game, and then they lose again to Jackson Dart. Hey, man, I'm all pro Philly being bad. So I like the Eagles. I like their players, but in the world where Philly's struggling, I'm a much happier person, dude.
Yeah. Philadelphia sports as a whole have hit a wall here recently. All right.
For sure.
That's the Drafted Up podcast. That's
Wrap it
Nick.
up.
I'm Theo. You know where to find the show. Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Like, rate, subscribe, review, share, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Search Drafted Up podcast. We'll be there. We'll catch you guys later this week. Adios.
Bye.